All right, everyone. Hello, and welcome back to another Low Budget Logistics, your logistics and supply chain explainer. It's been a while since I've uploaded a video. Why? Why, Matt? Why? Because I've got a job. And that job takes time. It's taken a lot of my time and effort. I am learning again how difficult it is to make videos because this is now the third time that I've made this specific video. It is frustrating. The first time I didn't hit record. Had a good take. Just went entirely by the wayside. Second time, I filmed it in the wrong angle, and the editing platform I'm using just wasn't going to do it. So here we are, round 3. This is what you're getting. Hope you enjoy. This is a new year, though. It's a new year, a new me. You're going to get what you wanted. It's been quite a year already. It's been a month for logistics news, and no one is really talking about it. So what are we going to talk about today, Matt? Are we going to talk about the incoming administration and the possible changes to tariff law? No, we're not going to talk about that. Why? Why would you talk about things that are popular? I don't know, Matt. Are you going to talk about changes to Mexican import law that hamstrung U.S. importers? No. Again, why would I talk about things that are important and popular? No, we're going to instead talk about a company that went under, specifically a transportation company that sadly went under, a thing called Pandion. They're a great company, just couldn't find their way. We'll get to that. It went under, right, because logistics oddly inhabits both the extremely hard and unprofitable circles of the Venn diagram. Now, because apparently I like topics which are unpopular, we're going to focus on this specific story. Now, you'll get to it in a second, but disclaimer, I knew people who worked at Pandion. I know them still. Trying to help them find jobs now. So I'm not going to second guess anything. I'm not going to badmouth the company. I'm going to kind of give you an example of why this industry is hard. So this is really a story about the freight market specifically, and a deeper question about whether shipping is a commodity or service, while talking about how difficult it is to actually sustain a logistics company. It is difficult. So my first experience with Pandion was through Stitch Fix. I am a longtime customer because I cannot be bothered to go shopping for myself, clothes shopping. Can't do it. I have a wife, 3 kids, and a cat. They occupy, and now a dog. Dog doesn't like me. They occupy my time and generally take all of my money. Being in transportation industry, whenever I get a box from anywhere, I look at the label to see who did the shipping, maybe try and find out something else that I might not know about the industry, see if there's a company I might need to vet, or a process I should probably try and steal. It is a weird habit I've developed over the years, and one I do not recommend that you replicate. Being the huge nerd that I am, I went looking deeper into the details of how this company worked once I got a package from them. And it was interesting in some extremely technical ways that I'm not going to bore you with, except to say they were really trying to specifically optimize their network on every package while providing reliable delivery dates. That's difficult. It's extremely technical. It's super complex processes, especially when you're talking about multi-state moving, those types of things. I'm sure there was lots of software in the background working on a lot of things. I'm assuming all of that was proprietary, and they're probably going to try and find a buyer for that. Now, here is where we get to problem number 1, price competition. Pandion touted themselves as having a super lean and optimized network, which I'm sure that they did. They had 63 employees in the entire company running a national carrier. But with that comes some pricing expectations, right? When we talk about pricing, there's an expectation that you're going to be low in price, and that service comes at a lower cost than other carriers. It is a great sales point, but a rough business model for the long term, especially in a zero-sum industry like the parcel industry. Because there's only so much parcel volume at any given time, when Pandion started operations in 2020, there was a lot of parcel volume going around. It was kind of insane. So things did look rosy for a while. Then inflation hit, parcel volumes pulled back a little bit, and everything else got more expensive. And then Pandion had to compete on low margins against other low margin carriers, of which there are several, while even the high margin carriers started to cut into their business, right? Everyone's going to pull back on the pricing because no one's going to pay it. Then it became clear they just couldn't keep on going, and they announced last week, as of the publishing of this video, they announced that they're going to be closing up shop, which is really, really terrible for all of the 63 employees that were involved in the company. Pandion probably had some game-changing tech to work with. That's kind of what they hung their hat on, and maybe they could have competed in the market at a different point in the future. Maybe we'll see one of the bigger players possibly snatch up their software and use it to optimize their existing infrastructure. Who really knows? Great companies sometimes just get born too early and go under. It's sort of a thing. But eventually a good idea does find its way, right time to grow in the market and become something better and longer lasting. It happens. Freight markets, unfortunately, are a jungle, and only the stronger survive, although everything flourishes at the right time. The second problem that we're going to bump our heads on is the MBA question of whether something is a commodity or if it's a service. Now, if it's a commodity, it's something like sugar, gas, gold, things that don't like have a marketable brand behind them. There's not some expectation of quality when you're buying a specific item from a specific company. Now, that's how most of the freight world works. It's how most of parcel transportation specifically works. And in the commodity industry, price is king. So if you can produce at lower than the market price, then great, you're going to make money. But if you can't, then you're never gonna get customers to buy at a higher price than what the market will allow. Now, a lot of transportation companies, parcel specifically, like to tout themselves as not a commodity, but as a service. And now this is where it gets kind of crazy, because I don't always care when stuff delivers. I just want it to deliver at some point in time. Now, when you set my expectations, yeah, that's fine. I want you to hit that expectation, but my expectation could be like 2 weeks. If you tell me it's 2 weeks, then so be it, right? I ship a lot of stuff through the postal system right now. It takes forever to get there. It just is what it is. Customers have become accustomed to that extensive timeline. There is some amount of the parcel world that is a service requirement, right? And that world is really inhabited by two companies, FedEx and UPS, especially here domestically in the US. They have day definite service is what we call it. Think of things like next day and 2-day air, where there is a requirement to have something delivered by the next day. In the case of like a holiday where you have to get something under the tree for Christmas, or you have a wedding and there's a specific time that's required. Or let's say it's something extremely complex like a legal contract that has to be signed by different parties in person. Then you need it overnighted. There is a requirement for service. There is an expectation for delivery. That's maybe 5% of the total US market. It's not a whole lot. And when you're in this industry, price is everything. It is a commodity in most cases. And as I'm learning, no one wants to pay for shipping. I don't want to pay for shipping. It is what it is. It is a necessary evil to get products from where they are to customers. So Pandion is trying to compete in that world as a commodity, and they just simply couldn't compete with other people who had the leg up in the industry by having existing infrastructure, right? It is very, very difficult to compete in a commodity industry if you don't have some kind of historical infrastructure already set up. So that's that. Just a good example of how things are happening behind the scenes, especially as early as January 2025, that you may not know about. So again, thank you so much for watching this. I hope you've had a good time. I will be continuing to make videos into the near future. If you like what I'm doing here and want to see more rambling, you should join the Bullshit podcast. It comes out on this channel. I'm going to put it on a YouTube channel at some point in time. But I hope you've had a great day, and thanks for watching.